Success begins with identifying a problem to solve. It says, Peter said to him, "What manner of man are you?" In other words, you just separated yourself from normal men. That's what that means. We thought you was a normal person. Success begins with separating yourselves from the pack. He became influential. Influence is the capacity to cause other people to listen to you or to follow you. What is influence? Oh dear. I guess I'm talking to myself. Talk to the hand. Influence is the capacity to cause other people to listen to you or to follow you. That's influence. Influence is when other people change their priorities for yours. What is influence? When other people change their priorities for yours. It's influence. So the reason why we focus on success is because success brings you influence. Session is going to be on the role of laws and rules in personal success. Write that down, please. The role of laws and rules in personal success. There's one point I want you to leave this class with tonight, and it's this. There's a difference between a law and a rule. And rules can actually stop you from being successful. We'll explain this in this session. Anyone who wants to be successful must break the rules. Your lack of success in life is related to the fact that you obey the rules. So success is really an integration of a number of principles we're going to talk about tonight. I want to talk about these 10 keys or these 10 laws of success that I have used in my own life. And these keys or laws are immutable. They are also universal, and they can work anywhere in the world. These laws have no respect for your ethnic background, your pigmentation. They have no respect for your family upbringing or your culture, because laws are universal. They work for anyone if you learn them. Now, when we talk about success, I want to quickly define success for you so that you don't think that success is something else. Everybody wants to be successful, correct? I mentioned to you in my last few sessions that success is predictable, failure is predictable. And the reason why success and failure are predictable is because everything was designed to function by laws. And laws make things predictable. Laws make life predictable. Write that down. All life is predictable because of laws. This is important. If you want to be successful in life, don't try to be successful in life. People are failures because they try to be successful. Successful people didn't try to be successful. They simply followed some laws. In other words, success is a result of obedience to laws. What did I say? Talk loud back to me. What did I say? Write that down and tweet that to somebody right now. Hashtag Myles Monroe. Success is what? A result. It's not a pursuit. In other words, success is a byproduct of an activity that you are involved in. So that's important to understand. What is success? Let me define a couple of thoughts for you. First of all, success is not what you've done compared to what others have done. Why? Because you'll always find somebody less than you and better than you. So you can actually claim to be the first in the class and still be a poor student. Success is not measured by what you've done compared to others. Success is measured by what you've done compared to what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to get 100. So 58 at the top of the class is failure because 100 was supposed to be success. So success is not measured by what you've done compared to what the others have done. It's measured by what you've done compared to what you should have done. In essence, success is the fulfillment of the original assignment or purpose for which the entire test was given. Your life, therefore, is measured by why God created you, not what you've done. Is not measured by what you've done, but by why God created you compared to what you've done. In other words, you could be a complete failure and everybody else thinks you are successful because you didn't do what God purposed for your life. Conclusion then is that success is simply fulfillment and completion of original purpose. The purpose for the exam is for me to get 100%. I got 48. So according to the examiner, even though I got the highest score, everybody failed, including me. You still with me? Yeah. So success in your life is first of all discovering why did God create you? What was the assignment, the purpose for your birth? Why did you come into the world? And this is really the key to measuring your success in life. Why God measures success this way. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. He says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you future and what? Hope. To give you a future and a hope. God has a future, a mark up ahead of you that's supposed to be what you reach. If you don't make it to the future that God intended for you, no matter how many people celebrated you, you're a failure. So success is measured by the future for which you was conceived. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 10 says, if the axe is dull and the edge is unsharpened, much strength is needed. But with skill, success comes quickly. I love that verse. If the axe is dull means that if you don't know and understand the laws and the keys and the principles of success, you will work hard like a dull axe and still not get the tree cut down. You won't accomplish what you were born to do. So life is not really just about working hard. It's about working skillfully, smartly. So you can work hard and still be a failure if you don't know the laws. So what is the laws we talk about? Why do we call it the keys to success? Jesus Christ said these words concerning living in his kingdom. Matthew 16 verse 19. He says, I will give you the keys, notice the plural word, of the kingdom. Whatever you lock up on earth will be locked up in heaven. Let me explain what that means. He said, I'm going to give you some laws. Keys are laws, principles. He said, with these principles, you can stop things from happening or you can start things to happen. And whatever you stop when you use these keys, heaven will back you up. And whatever you allow, heaven will back you up. In other words, you control on earth what heaven does. Wow. I'm going to give you the laws, he says, by which you can actually bring heaven to earth. You can cause heaven to act on your behalf on earth. So whatever you start or stop depends on the laws that you disobey or obey. You can shut down things or open up things depending on the laws you obey or disobey. Success is not up to God. It's up to you. If you don't know the keys, God can't help you. If you know the keys, God will help you. Why? Because God is a God of laws. He responds to laws. Just like any manufacturer, you obey the laws of the manufacturer, they guarantee the product will operate. The secret to success, Joshua 1 verse 8. God told Joshua the secret to success. Here it is. He says, keep this book of the law on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will make your way prosperous and you will have good success. God gave the responsibility of success to you, not to him. Read that verse again. God says, it's up to you, Joshua, whether you succeed or fail. And it depends on what? What do you see there? Come on, say it loud. What does it depend on? Laws. Yeah, thank you very much. Laws. I told you that success is predictable. You can actually reverse this verse. Let us reverse it, okay? If you do not keep this book of the law on your lips, and do not dwell in it day and night and meditate, and do not be careful to do everything in it, then you will make your way a failure and poor. Am I right? Yeah, it's reversed. It's predictable. So if you don't know the laws and don't obey them, then you can't pray for success. Success is a result of obedience to laws. Am I clear? Okay. Why are laws so important? You can deal with this real quickly. Write this down. The key to life is order. Order comes from law. The source of law brings order. When you obey laws, you bring order to your life. The ultimate law, therefore, of life is law, because there's nothing more important than law. What does law do? Laws protect, sustain, preserve, they guard, and they promote life. If you obey laws, they'll protect you, they will guard you, they will preserve you, they will sustain you, and in the end, they'll promote you. If you always do what's right, I guarantee you, you will emerge to the top eventually. People who take shortcuts, people who sell drugs become rich, or people who sell their bodies to pay their bills, or people who compromise in their jobs to get ahead. Don't worry about them. Don't be jealous of them. They will fail. They will fail. Because you cannot break a law. Laws break you. Write this down, please. Without law, there's no definition in life. Laws define things. You put a seed on a tile floor and leave it there for 20 years, the seed will stay there and no tree will come forth. Why? Because you violated the law of the seed. So the laws define what the seed must do. Prosperity doesn't come by prayer. If you obey my laws and keep them, meditate on them, you will make your way prosperous. Prosperity doesn't come by prayer. It comes by keeping laws. People in the world are Christians. And somehow their Christianity makes them lazy. They want God to do magic. These people are wicked. They look for miracles all the time. And we know what happened when those people asked Jesus Christ for a miracle. They asked him one time, show us miracles. He said, only a wicked and adulterous generation seek miracles. In other words, shortcuts. The longest way to success is the shortcut. Tweet that to someone now. What did I say? The longest way to success is a shortcut. Don't violate law. Now, I want to show you the difference between natural law and supernatural laws. Write them down. Number one, natural law is inherent in creation. That means it's built into creation. Number two, natural law establishes natural order. Number three, natural law regulates natural relationships. Notice the word natural is from the word nature. Huh? Natural, nature. Yeah, it's built into nature. Natural law cannot be changed. Natural law is built in consequences. In other words, natural law doesn't need God to punish you when you violate it. For example, gravity is a natural law. Natural law has built-in consequences. Next, natural law has inherent judgment. Again, it tells us that it's predictable. If you keep smoking cigarettes, we don't need to wonder what happens to your lungs. You keep drinking alcohol, we can predict what happens to your liver. There's no question about that. Your liver is given to you to purify the blood in your body. If your body is filled with alcohol in the blood that you drink, the liver takes it out of the blood and keeps it. The alcohol burns the cells in the liver because of acidity, and it becomes fried. It called cirrhosis of the liver. Now you end up with a fried liver that can't purify your blood anymore, and the liver poisons you. Spiritual laws are very important. I just gave you natural law. Spiritual laws, number one, are established by God, the Creator. And this is important. In other words, natural law and spiritual law have nothing to do with you. They are established by the Creator. You didn't create gravity. God's wonderful design of the universe created gravities. Secondly, spiritual law establishes your conscience. There is a law in your body called the conscience. It's in your mind. No one has to tell you when you're doing wrong. There's a law in your body that tells you. You know when you ate too much. Your conscience is a natural spiritual law. And number three, spiritual laws are inherent in the human spirit. All of us know sin. Even the guy who doesn't know God knows when he's breaking the law. There are laws built into our spirit being. Number four, spiritual laws regulate supernatural relationships. For you to relate to God, you have to obey some spiritual laws. First, submission. You got to submit to God. God can't help you if you ain't submit. Number two, you have to confess that you don't know nothing. That's a spiritual law. If you come to God as if you know everything, then why do you need God? That's a law. A law of submission, not just of your body, but of your mind and your intelligence. Spiritual law is built-in consequences. The wages of sin is death. So when your forefather Adam sinned, God didn't put death on him. Death was built into the law. Let me quote God's word. God says, the day you eat this fruit, you will surely die. He didn't say the day you eat this fruit, I will kill you. The dying was in the act of eating the fruit. Laws are inherent. Now, the reason why I showed you that is because I want you to see the difference between laws and rules. because there's a difference between the two and it affects your success. Write this down. Law is the inherent principles that regulate nature of life and relationships in God's creation. I'm giving you a definition of law. Law defined is inherent principles, that means the built-in principles, that regulate the nature of life and relationships within creation. For example, the tree relates to the soil because of a law. They have a relationship. The judgment is built in it. The fish must relate to the water. They got to get along real well. If the fish decides, I don't like you no more water, you don't need to kill the fish. Dies. God never killed Adam. God says, look, your relationship with me depends on you not touching that tree. I ain't going to kill you. But if you violate that tree, that means the commandment of God. It's not the tree. It's the fact that God told not to touch it, the law. When a fish leaves water, you never kill it. It dies. When a plant leaves soil, you don't kill it. It dies. When a man leaves God, you don't kill him. He dies. Is that clear? Number two, laws are both natural and supernatural, both physical and spiritual, to guarantee maximum fulfillment of purpose and potential. In other words, God created all the laws to work in your favor. The problem with life is simple, you know. We don't know the laws. So we come to life experimenting, guessing, hoping things work out. My real simple job for the rest of my life, the reason why I am doing what I do, the reason why you call me maybe a pastor or teacher, it's a simple job I have. My job is to teach you the laws. Every day I get up, I just teach laws. Let's talk about the law of nature. Law is essential to life. Law is necessary for all relationships. And the concept of need is the concept of law. Write that down. Need creates law. Your car needs gasoline, so there's a law established by the need. The fish need water, so there's a law established by the need. The plant needs the soil, so there's a law established by the need. You don't want God, you need God. That's why you come back to God. People think that coming to God is a religious experience or something. No, it isn't. It's you catching your senses, that's all. Nothing without the soil, the plant can do nothing. Without God, you can do nothing, he says. This is not a matter of choice, it's a matter of need. You don't want God. Fish don't want water. It's a law. Write this down. Plants need soil. Fish need water. Birds need the air, the freedom. Trees need carbon dioxide. They don't want it. And humans need oxygen. Now the problem with this is humans don't produce oxygen. And they need it to live. So there's a law. The humans got to protect the trees. That's a law. Every time you kill a tree, you're threatening your own life. So this is why governments are actually fining people who are cutting the forest. Write this down. Humans are the only created beings that willfully, intentionally violate natural and physical laws. We are the only creatures that do it. Fish never leave water. Plants never leave the soil. They don't challenge the law. We are the only creatures God created that question the law, challenge it, violate it, intentionally, willfully walk away from it. We are amazing creatures. And that's why there is global failure all over the world. In every culture, every race, every ethnic group, people are failing by the billions because they disobey laws intentionally. All other created things submit to law. They obey natural law and spiritual law. This job, it torments you. And you torment everybody in it too. I know why I come here. This old lousy job. I want to go home when it's lunchtime. See, you torment everybody around you. Why? Because you're tormented. Because you are out of your purpose. They still wouldn't leave. This is tormentation. This is tormented people. Why? They ain't built for this. It's not their gift. Not their gift. Am I making sense? So let's talk about the law of humanity. First of all, God created all things to live and function by laws. You said that. But God created mankind to live by natural and spiritual laws. And that's why all humans must learn laws for the relationships to be built properly. The reason why people fail is because they don't know the laws. And therefore, all relationships are products of law. How you relate to life depends on the laws that you're supposed to obey. Law is the key to success and prosperity. Do you ever wonder why God told Joshua, if you obey my laws, you will have good success? You know why? Because you can have bad success. Ministers yesterday, I said I will never be poor again. Impossible. I will never be poor again. Why? Because laws are predictable. Laws give you control over life. Write that down. What did I say?
Laws give you control over life.
When you know laws and you obey laws, you control the outcome. I'm going to say it again. When you know law and you obey law, you control the outcome. The farmer doesn't have to pray for the outcome. So he goes to sleep and he wakes. Law and wisdom. It's very important. Knowledge of laws and principles are the source of wisdom. The Bible says, in all you're getting, get wisdom. And if it costs you all you have, get understanding. Write down the scripture. It is Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7. Write that down. That's one of my key scriptures in my life. One of my favorite verses in my life is Proverbs 4, verse 7. I live on that from a teenage. I still live on it. I'm going to quote it again. In all you're getting, get wisdom. But if it costs you all you have, get understanding. He's talking about the laws. If you understand the laws, you become wise. Knowledge of laws produce boldness. Sometimes people think that you are wise. No, you ain't wise. You're just knowledgeable. And there are laws of communication, and there are laws of social development, and there are laws of family security. So I just repeat the laws. I think, oh, you're so wise. I ain't wise. I got a good memory. And they pay you for a good memory. Matter of fact, the three words you want to remember is knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Right? They're different. Knowledge is information. Understanding is comprehension. But wisdom is application. You can actually know laws and don't apply them. The result is the same. Huh? You fail. You know your gas tank is on E. You know that. But you could avoid gas stations. You know the car needs it. So you got knowledge. You understand the car needs it. You got comprehension. But you ain't got no wisdom. What is wisdom? Applying it. Going to the station and getting the gasoline. Understanding what I'm saying is another thing. But leaving here, what you do with it is totally up to you. And wisdom is application. So laws and principles are more important than power. When a person knows the laws, they have power. Laws versus strength. Now, notice I talk about laws versus wisdom. But let's talk about laws versus strength. Sometimes a strong person is not smart. Let's read what the Bible says in Joshua 1 again. God told Joshua, be strong and courageous. How? He says, by keeping the laws. Your strength is proven by the laws you know and the laws you obey. A strong person is a person who keeps law. So you know them. Okay? Let's talk a little bit about this. True principles and laws are never broken. Violation of law is impossible. You don't break laws. That's number one. Number two, true principles and laws can never be violated. If you jump from a 10-story building, you didn't violate gravity. Gravity violated you. When you jump up a 10-story building, you didn't push yourself down. Gravity pulled you down. Do you know the difference? You didn't fall if you jump from a 10-story building. You were pulled down. You don't break laws. That's number three. True laws and principles break those who violate them. Number four. The creator of true law does not have to impose judgment. These are important principles of violation of law. Number five. Judgment is inherent in true law principles, built into them. Number six. True law and principles attract and activate their own benefits. I like this part. And their judgment. I don't like that part. Can I say that one again? True laws and principles attract and activate their own benefits or judgment. If you learn the laws of life, learn the laws of creation, learn the laws of spirituality, if you learn them, and you obey them, they attract benefits. If you keep my law, Joshua, you will make your way prosperous. That means you cannot fail. Failure and success is not up to God. God's finished. He's created the whole thing. He put it in motion. Shuts down, it doesn't serve you, you become a failure. It becomes a failure because you violate the laws. So laws have their built-in benefits and judgment. What's the benefits of law? Number one, laws and principles protect the product. Number two, laws and principles preserve the product. Number three, laws and principles serve the product. Number four, laws and principles guarantee product function. Number five, laws and principles simplify product operation. This one is important. If you know the laws, operation becomes very easy. You know, some of you got an iPad, you're working with that, right? You learn some basic things with iPad, right? That the laws, how it functions. And confidence. When you know the laws, you are confident. Why can I teach in this class with so much confidence? Because I know the laws, and I know what I'm saying is true, because I actually am a result of them. I learned them, tested them, proved them. They work. So I can speak with confidence. These laws work. Laws give you confidence and boldness. Number 8, laws and principles are the enemies of fear. When you know the laws of life and the principles of life, there's no fear in your life. Fear is evidence of ignorance. What did I say? Write that down and tweet it to somebody right now. Hashtag Myles Monroe, please. What did I say? Fear is evidence of ignorance. Wow. Knowledge reduces fear. Jesus Christ had no fear of death. Now, that wasn't because he was God. He told us why. He said, my Father told me that if I lay my life down, I could take it up again. That knowledge made him fearless of death. It was the information that gave him the confidence and the boldness. Laws and tradition. Laws and tradition are different. Traditions can give you failure. Most people fail because of tradition. If you're going to be successful, you have to break tradition. Somehow we've made tradition and law the same. They are not. Let's read Matthew chapter 5 verse 20, the words of Jesus Christ out loud. Read. For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and teachers of the law, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. Now, that word righteousness means what? To be realigned with God's laws. So he's talking about the difference between tradition and laws. If you don't believe me, read the next verse. Matthew 15:2. Read. Why do you disciples break the rules or traditions of the elders? Stop reading. Notice the word or between what? Rules and traditions. They are the same. Okay, read it again. Why do your disciples break the rules or the traditions of who? The elders. Who? The elders, not God. Follow me now. You got to separate what man made from what God established. I guarantee you with all my strength that man has designed your failure. They don't wash their hands before they eat. Sound familiar? Jesus replied, now he can respond to them. Why do you break the laws of God in place of your traditions, your rules, your traditions? Wow. The difference between law versus rule. Get your pen. This is fresh stuff off the wire. Remember this all your life. My cyber members, write this down, okay? What is law versus rules? Number 1, a general rule or principle that is thought to be true or held to be binding. The world calls that law. It's a rule. Number 2, in the world, let's say that a statement of a scientific fact or phenomenon that is invariable under given conditions. They call that law. Now, that's not necessarily true, because God violated many facts. Like walking on water, violated a scientific fact. They also say that laws are a rule or conduct or procedure recognized by a community as binding or enforceable by authority. This is dangerous stuff here. Law is a rule of conduct or procedure recognized by a community as binding or enforceable by authority. This is dangerous stuff. For example, in America some years ago, they made a rule that black people were only 2/3 humans. That means they were half animals. That was a law in America, right? So they expected the procedure to follow that. That means a black man could never be treated like an equal human to anyone else. So he was sold like you sell animals, right? Because there was a rule that produced that conduct. Watch this. And it was accepted by the community. So the white community in America accepted the rule that black people were not humans. They were just partially animals. So to sell them and to treat them like, and to beat them and to burn them and to brand them with a hot iron was just like branding a cow. It's not. After all, the rule is accepted in the community that you ain't a real human. So the whole concept was based on a rule created by the community. It means authority gave you the right to buy a slave, to beat a slave, to brand a slave, and to sell a slave. The community made that forcible, enforceable. That's how dangerous the law is. Now, what happened to that? Well, you get people who rose up and says we are against the rule. Why? Because there's another law. The law says that all humans are equal, made in God's image. So they had to find another law. They got that law from where? Genesis, right? So they say, okay, we found a divine law that says all humans are equal. The rules of men are designed to make sure you fail and to keep you from prosperity and success. The last one is the most frightening one. They say laws are an act of passed by legislature or a similar body. This is dangerous. A law is an act passed by legislature or a similar body like Congress or something. Now, that's dangerous, eh? They're making laws today, all kind of laws. I don't call them laws, I call them rules. They are trying to make it a tradition that two men get married, for example. Two men can get married. They're trying to make it a tradition so they become acceptable by the community. Remember, the community now is the problem. And they want to enforce it by authority. You have to marry two men if they come to you. Why? By law, they say. So there's a problem in some countries where if two women come to get married, you got to marry them. Why? The authorities have to enforce it. Why? Because legislature says it is a rule, which they call a law. Now, problem. They made a human law, but natural law disagrees. The two men can't have children. So here's the bottom line. The difference between rules and laws. Number one, laws are more important than rules. What did I say? Tweet that right now to someone and hashtag Myles Monroe. Number two, these are principles. Laws are different from rules. Number three, rules, these are retractions, customs, limitations, and boundaries created by men. That's what a rule is. It customs. They create limitations. That's what a rule is. It's a limitation. They create boundaries. A rule is not a law. It's not a real law. If man creates a rule, it is not a divine law. See, man was designed by God to protect natural law and divine law. What man has attempted to do is to create a third set of laws, which are his own laws. And many times, those laws violate the first two laws, natural law and divine law. That leads to point number 4. Laws should never be subject to rules. There is conflict between a law and a rule. Obey the law. What did I say? When there's a conflict between a law and a rule, obey the law. That might mean going to jail. Nelson Mandela went to prison because he broke a rule. And he broke the rule because he found another law. The rule says they are unequal. He said, I'm going to obey the law and violate the rule. So I'm going to pay the price. And number 6, successful people always break the rules. for the sake of the law. That's why they're leaders. You can't lead by keeping rules. You lead by keeping laws, but not rules. The rules are made by men. These are man-made rules. You know, men are so weird. Let me tell you what humans are like. Listen to me carefully. Humans made a car, right? They built the car and put on the speedometer 168 miles per hour. They give you the car, you buy it, you have 168 horsepower in the engine, then they put up a sign, 45. I'm confused here. Wait now. Why you don't build a car for 45? Then I ain't got to worry about it. Because humans are designed to restrict you, to retard your power. And then comes Jesus and says, nothing is impossible if you believe it, not them. That's where success begins. Success begins by ignoring them, violating their rules. Huh? You work in a hotel. God says, no, I want you to own a hotel on the island. You sit there saying, we don't own hotels. Who said that? They said that, is your response. Who is they? That's the question. Never be afraid to break the rules for the sake of the laws of God. Never be afraid to break the rules for the sake of the law of God in creation. I believe rules by men were made to be broken. And only those who break them make history. Men lock you up, they lock you down, they tell you you can't do what you're supposed to do, Brother Clay. They tell you, you ain't never going to be the owner of the department or the owner of the company. You're going to work for the rest of your life. And God says, no, the vision I gave you is you own your own company. But the rule says you ain't supposed to own it. Here's 10 laws. First law, number 1. It's the key. It's a law. You must discover your purpose. We can deal with that. Number 2, you must cultivate perception. They all start with P, so you can remember them. That means you got to actually see your purpose in pictures. This is a law. You can't go the way you can't see. Number 3, it's a law. You must understand your potential. You must believe in your potential more than other people's assessment of you. Otherwise, you'll never be successful. Number 4, you must have a passion. Those of you who want to be motivational speakers, I give you a material, man. Write this down. Make sure you give me credit now when you use it the first time. This is the secret to success. Passion. The 5th key for success is principles. Even though you have vision and passion, you gotta have principles to protect them. So you gotta live by laws to protect your principles, your passion, and your vision. Number 6, the law of planning. You have to plan your strategy to be successful. Make a plan. Number 7, people. Lord have mercy. This is an important one. The law of people. If you're going to be successful, you're going to have to protect yourself from the wrong people. And you got to gather in your life the right people. You got to avoid the wrong people. People are dangerous. And number 8, the law of persistence. Because there will be resistance. There will be those who don't believe you. Get used to it. It's part of the process of success. And number 9, the law of perseverance. That means you got to fight to accomplish your dream. Dreams don't come to you. You go for them. You got to persevere. Persevere means that you bear up under difficulties. You keep getting up. Keep dusting off. Keep saying, I'm going to start again. I'm going to try one more time, 2 more times, 10 more times. Perseverance. The last one is the law of prayer. This one is very important. It means that you must have spiritual reserves. You must be able to go to the one who gave you number 1. Show me the laws. David says, you teach me your laws, I will not fail. They'll preserve me. So act on what you heard. In Jesus' name. Everybody say amen. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share with you. I hope that you learned a few things tonight. If you are, give yourself a big hand for coming out tonight. Praise